Hi everyone, I'm here today to talk about book banning, what it's really all about, and how you, as a high school student, can take back control of what you read. So the question we first have to ask ourselves is, what exactly is book banning? According to the American Library Association, or ALA, and their link is right over here, book banning is defined as removing the material. Challenging a book, on the other hand, simply means an attempt to remove the materials. This has gone on for several years, forming a long list of books that some high school students can't even read. All of these books have been banned for different reasons. The most common reasons include profanity, violence, and material that's just too adult for the intended age group. While these reasons may seem valid to some, it's important to remember that you have the right to read and learn in the classroom. This fact is often forgotten in the fight to ban a book, which is why book banning is such an important issue. Now, you may be asking yourself, what does this have to do with me? Why should I care? Especially if you don't like to read. Well, book banning can impact you in different areas of your life. So let's look at the question, how does book banning affect high school students? To answer this question, I will break down the answer into three different parts. The first being the formation of an unrealistic view of reality. Students who are kept sheltered from the books that express real-life topics are less prepared when they encounter the same type of topics in their own lives. The student's education of the real world is softened. Second would be the lack of diversity in reading. An experiment conducted on high school teachers shows that the teachers were far more cautious to select books that involve culture, lifestyle, and other forms of diversity. If teachers are too anxious to include diverse books out of fear of being challenged, the students lose an education in diversity that can be useful later in life. Third would be developing a lack of interest in reading. Suzanne Fisher Staples points out in her journal for the Allen Review that you gain a sense of self-trust when you select what you read. You discover what you are interested in the literary world, and this can often translate to interests in other things, such as film, art, and music. Interest can be stripped away once your favorite book is removed from the classroom or public library. These effects, along with many others, are often overlooked by those who are motivated to remove a book. The author's intent is also disregarded in several cases. In his YouTube video entitled I'm Not a Pornographer, author and YouTuber John Green discusses why he is upset that his book, Looking for Alaska, has been challenged. He points out that his true intent when writing the book was not to arouse his readers, but to, quote, show that physical intimacy can never stand in for emotional closeness, and that when teenagers attempt to conflate these ideas, it inevitably fails. The lesson behind John Green's book was neglected when parents took issue with it. As students trying to take back your right to read, it is necessary to bring the author's intent back into light. Make a point to showcase what you can learn from the scene that was in question in John Green's book, or any book for that matter. Using author's intent is just one way out of many in which you can fight against book banning. You can also write a letter to your principal or school board asking them to listen to the student's side of the argument. Ask your teacher to have a lesson over book banning. The lesson can include topics such as your school's policy on banning, a discussion on why you think certain books have been banned, and why it is important to remember that you have the right to read. Talking with your parents is also a good way to take back your right to read. If they take issue with what you are reading in class, find out why. You could learn something by listening to their point of view, and perhaps they could learn something as well. A discussion is the best way to understand your parents' thoughts on the topic and for them to learn yours. Reading is a crucial part to our education. If a book is banned, then it can't contribute to that education. Being informed and discussing the topic are the two most important things that you can do to fight against banning. Be active in your education and stand up for your right to read. Throughout this video, there were links to helpful websites that are filled with information about book banning. If a book is being challenged or banned at your school or library, read through them and find out how you can stand up for it. And always remember that your right to read begins with you, so take action, speak up, and make a change.